United faithful, what do you think about replacing Casemiro? Casemiro is leaving at the end of the season, and it is obvious that we've not gotten anybody that is going to replace him like for like. Yes, because Casemiro is the only midfielder that have scored 7 goals in the Premier League this season as a defensive midfielder. You understand? 7 good goals. The highest he has scored is in his entire career. When he was in Real Madrid, he has always scored 6 goals in a single season as a defensive midfielder. But he came to the Premier League with Manchester United. He has scored 7 good goals. You understand? As a defensive midfielder, that's a very good record for him. And he has announced that he's leaving at the end of the season. So we are looking for somebody that is going to replace him right now. So like for like, who do you think will replace Casemiro? Elliot Henderson obviously cannot replace Casemiro as a defensive midfielder for Manchester United because Elliot Henderson is a very good player, but he cannot score goals. You understand? He's only good in what he does. Sandro Tonali is even a better option because he scored goals once in a while from the midfield, and he's a very composed player. You understand? So I will even prefer Tonali to Elliot Henderson because Tonali can bring in some good threats sometimes, and his experience in that midfield. So he's even better to me. He's better than Elliot Henderson. But like for like, who do you think that we can use to replace Casemiro? We have not found anybody. So that guy need to be studied. I think to me, I would have preferred Manchester United bring in a player that will understudy Casemiro before he leaves at the end of the season. That guy brings in some different dimension into United midfield. So guys, we need to look for somebody that can replace Casemiro and replace him very well in Manchester United. If I were to suggest, I would have just advised United management to give him to extend with that 1 year that is left in the contract, if it's possible. Still give him 1 year contract, then allow him to stay for one more season. You understand? Before we can get a reputable replacement for him, because as it is right now, there is nobody that is going to replace that Casemiro like for like. So if we can give him that 1 year contract, we'll now use the World Cup to assess, find, scout some players that can replace him because definitely World Cup is coming at by June, and we're going to watch the World Cup. So we'll definitely get somebody that will be able to replace him, even if the person cannot replace him fully, like in terms of the goal threat and everything, but we can get other ways that Casemiro can be replaced. You understand? So we need, if I were to advise, let's extend his contract by 1 year. Then every other thing can be put in place for Casemiro to still stay in Manchester United because that guy has really produced a lot for us. And next year we are playing in the Champions League, so we might need Casemiro. Or if we are not going to extend his contract, we need to start looking for a player that can replace him and replace him very well. First of all, we need to look for the player in the Premier League first. You understand? In fact, we need like 2 players, one in the Premier League and one outside the Premier League, so that these 2 people can actually fight for that position. You understand? To replace Casemiro very well. What do you think, guys? That's my thought, and let me know what you think in the comment section. See you next time.